So in this video, I want to talk about houses, days of the weeks, or days of the weeks in geomancy chart. That is how to identify the houses that represent each days. For instance, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth, 7 days. So which of the geomancy's house represent each of these day, and how do we use them in reading or interpretation? Because already each of these figure represent days of the week as well. So now if the days, if figure represent days, if the figure, each of these figure represent days, and each of these house, some of these house represent days as well, then how do we use them without having a conflict? So now, before I explain that, I need to tell us that which of these houses represent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on and so forth. Because by this stage, I want to believe that we all know each figures and the day they represent. So I'm speaking from Eastern perspective geomancy, because Eastern geomancy and Western geomancy has a slight difference between figure and days. Some figure in Eastern geomancy might represent Monday, while in Western geomancy it might represent another day. So without making these videos to be too long or too clumsy, so this is based on Eastern geomancy, Arabic geomancy, Eastern geomancy. So now, like I said, I want to believe that we all know what each figure represents in terms of their day, but the main focus now is house and the figure, the days they represent. So now let's quickly talk about that before we then talk about how to use them. Now, house 1 represents Sunday. House 1 represents Sunday, while house 2 represents what? Monday. House 2 represent Mondays. While house 6 represent Tuesday. House 6 represent Tuesday. While house 4 represent Wednesday. Stand for what? Wednesday. It's house of what? Wednesday. While house 10 represent Thursday. It's the house of what? Thursday. While house 8 represent Friday. It's house of Friday. While house 16 represents Saturday. So which means that this is Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now let me make a quick clarification here. You see, house 1 is house of Sunday, based on African, because I'm in African, I'm using that. But let's say there are states, because this is not limited. Let me explain this further. Let's say in your country or in your continent, the first day is not Sunday. The first day the first day that the week starts from is not Sunday. That means this house 1 will not be Sunday under your continent. Geomancy is not static, it's dynamic, it is cross-cultural. You understand? In African, house 1 is house of Sunday because that is the first day of the week. So maybe you are in a continent or in a nation where where Sunday is not the first day of the week. It means that this will not be Sunday. The first day of the week will then be the house 1. You understand? As well, house 2 is house of Monday. You understand? From the African perspective, it is a state of war. It is the war. It is this day where business is actually meant to open or to start or to flourish or blah 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 like that. You understand? Maybe Monday is not the same thing. It's not conceived the same way in your country. Maybe it is Wednesday that is actually seen as Monday. That is a day where business is expected to start, or where maybe when everything closes, the day that is an opening. the the day after, the day where business start working or every other thing, you understand? But that means that day is then will be house 2 in your own, but this one is just from African perspective. So day 2. Now this is not only represent day 2, there are some markets whereby it open maybe 7 days interval or 2 weeks interval. This is usually common in Africa. So don't let me go out of the context to which this thing is. So the day business opens or starts is the day I was to represent, which is Monday in Africa. So in your continent it might be different. You understand? So these 2 hours may be vary from continent to continent. This is day 1 is Sunday, is the first day of the week. Your continent may be different. So do you understand? So why the rest is as that? The rest is that way. So now I hope you have understood the houses and the day they represent. Now how do we use them? Because figure itself also represents days. Because let's say you cast a chart now, you now ask that which day are you expected to do something, or do you want to do something, that now maybe the figure now comes out on that particular expected house. You know, there is house, there is figure. It might conflict. Let's say for instance now, this one is house 1 is house of war Sunday. Look at this figure here from Eastern Geomancy, from Arabic Geomancy, from Eastern Geomancy. This figure represents what? Thursday. Now Thursday on what? On Sunday. Can you see the two? That's why I said that there is a way this is usually used, or this is usually what interpreted. But there is no confusion in a house where in a blank house. I hope you are getting it. Let me explain what I'm trying to explain. Let me explain what I'm trying to say. Figure has their days. The house has their day as well. For instance, this is house 1. This, and which is Sunday. This is Sunday house. Now look at this as well. Figure. This is figure. This is Thursday. So now this figure days, the days of the figure are good or useful because you might be in a continent whereby you don't know, maybe it is day, whatever start your week, you don't know anything. So it is this that will lead, the figure will lead. And that is one of the reasons why the meaning of the days of the week in terms of the house is not well popular again, because majority now focus on the figure relate to determine whatever they want to use. They place primacy or major concern on the figure, because that is more neutral and general than the house. You understand? Now, how do we then usually use this? Take it for instance now, you consulted that which day is it favorable to go, maybe to go for a journey or to go for whatever you are inquiring about, or to do whatever you want to do. Do you understand? The figure will come out first. The figure that found in that queried house is the day suitable for that day, for that thing you want to do. But let's say you find out that the figure there is not convenient for you. The day the chart is given for you is not convenient for you. Then the house become the alternative. That if you cannot do it on that particular day, you can do it on that the house that the figure is talking about. Let's use this house 1 as an example. Let's say this figure is where it is in what you want to do, which is Thursday. And that Thursday, based on your own convenience or one thing or the other, you couldn't do it. That means you can do that thing on what? On Sunday. It is as simple as that. Although there is in Eastern Geomancy, there is a proper way to know when, let's say you want to ask a question that when should you do something, there are proper and standard way of doing it. But the sharpest way or the simplest way for us to understand, if you don't have the deeper understanding, you can also use this medium by going to house of the queried house. The house of that thing you are inquiring about, you can use to determine the best day for it or the other. Do you understand? So, but apart from that, there are other means of doing this in another way. But the simplest way or the easiest way is what I just illustrate. You either use the figure or use the house. The figure is the first one, while the alternative house is the house. You understand? So I hope this helps. So thank you for watching the video. May God bless you miraculously.